Hi children, hope you're all doing well. I'm A. Madhubabu, a teacher of English. In today's class, we are going to learn about the poem on the grasshopper and cricket written by John Keats. Now let's look at the overview of today's class. Well, this lesson basically consists of four components. First, the poem on the grasshopper and cricket, working with poem, speaking, and writing. Yes, let's look at the objectives now. Learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to recite the poem on the grasshopper and cricket aloud with rhyme and rhythm, identify the importance of the environment and nature, recognize the effectiveness of the poet's use of imagery, personification, and rhyming words, summarize the main idea of the poem in your own words, express your opinions on superstitions, and write a paragraph on a rainy day. Yes, let's know about the poet now. The English romantic poet John Keats wrote On the Grasshopper and Cricket during 1816 in a sonnet competition with his friend and mentor Leigh Hunt. Keats chose the Italian sonnet form for his entry. Well, we know that a sonnet is a 14-line poem. And well, let's know a brief introduction about the poem. The poem On the Grasshopper and Cricket by John Keats is a nature poem. The poet celebrates the music of the earth. He finds beauty in hot summer as well as in the cold winter. Here in this poem, the grasshopper is a symbol of hot summer and cricket is a symbol of cold winter. They are the ones that continue the earth's poetry all the year. Well, let's move to the poem. Listen carefully. On the grasshopper and cricket, the poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. That's the grasshopper's. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. After listening to the poem, we can understand that the poet was quite inspired by the beauty of nature, the most common theme among the romantic poets. On the grasshopper and cricket celebrates nature's never-ending beauty by incorporating the song of two specific insects, the grasshopper and the cricket. The poem is divided into two stanzas. The first stanza deals with the description of grasshoppers and its activities during summer. The second stanza is about crickets and its activities during winter. Now let's look at the first stanza. Now children, let's read the poem once again for better understanding. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new mown mead. That's the grasshopper. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights, for when tired out with fun, He rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. Now let's know the meanings of some unfamiliar words. Let's know the meanings of the words. Faint, feeling weak and dizzy and close to leading consciousness. Hedge, a fence or boundary formed by closely growing bushes or shrubs. Mown, cut down with a machine. Mead, meadow, a piece of land covered or cultivated with grass. Now let's know in detail. The poet says that the poetry of earth is never dead. This line gives an insight into how romantics saw earth and nature. For them, the earth sings. However, its singing and joy are not limited to spring season. According to the poet, it always keeps singing irrespective of seasons. Now, let's see how well you have understood. So, here is the first question for you. The poetry of earth is dash dead. Your options are: is it always dead, or never, or almost, or often? What do you think, children? Yes, you are right. It's never. The poetry of earth is never dead. The poet says when it's hot sun, I mean during summer season, and all the birds are faint and hidden in trees to keep themselves cool. Fainted here means they are almost all half dead because of this hot summer season. And there is a voice which runs from hedge to hedge about the new mown meadows. Well, here is the question for you. When the sun is hot, all the birds hide in nests, underwater, cooling trees, none of this. Where do they hide, children? Yes, when the sun is hot, all the birds hide in cooling trees. This little creature that produces that voice is grasshopper. It takes the lead in the luxury of summer. That means he continues to keep the nature alive with means of joy. He has never done with his delights because when he gets tired with fun, he goes under some pleasant weed. He is never tired of singing, though it may be burning outside. It keeps on singing and jumping. Well, the question here is whose voice can be heard in summer? Is it ants or crickets or grasshoppers or all of them? What do you think, children? Yes, it is grasshopper. Let's go through the second stanza. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there trills the cricket song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. Well, let's find out the meanings for unfamiliar words. Now, here are the words: ceasing, come or bring to an end; lone, deserted or lonely; wrought, brought about; shrills, comes through loud and clear; drowsiness, a feeling of being sleepy and lethargic. Well, now let's try to understand the stanza line wise. The poet says that the poetry of earth is never ceasing because even on lonely winter evening, when the frost has brought a silence, one can hear thrills of the cricket song from the stove. Let's check how well you have understood. Well, the question for you is, when does the poetry of earth bring silence? Is it summer or winter or autumn or monsoon? What do you think? Yes, it is winter. Well done, children. And while it's singing, the person who is half lost in drowsiness thinks that it is the grasshopper singing in some grassy hills. In other words, a romantic person feels as if he is in spring because of the cricket song. In this way, the nature keeps itself alive, merrymaking and singing. Well, now let's check how well you have understood. The question for you is, whose voice can be heard in winter? Is it ants or crickets or grasshoppers or all of them? Yes, children. It is cricket. Now let's look at the moral of the poem. The poem teaches us that we shall be joyful and pleasant no matter what the situations in our life are. With this attitude, we can easily overcome all the obstacles in life. Now, here is a group task for you. We'll work with the poem. What all you have to do is you have to discuss with your friends. What is a poem? Come on, children. Just think and discuss with your partners. Yes, let's check now. A poem is made of words arranged in a beautiful order. These words, when read aloud with feeling, have a music and meaning of their own. And let's see what the other boy says. The best words in the best order. Wonderful. And finally, we can say that it is just like a blank check. It is up to the reader that you can draw the perception of the poet and the theme and the meaning and the appreciation of beauty. Well, now first look at the theme of the poem. Nature is a spontaneous source of optimism and happiness in the theme of the poem. Nature never confers negativity and is never sad. Nature is always singing through the media like grasshoppers in summer and crickets in winter. Change in climate doesn't bring hindrances in the continuous mirth of nature. Let's see the mood of the poem. The mood of the poem is joyous. The poem celebrates the calls of the grasshopper and cricket. In short, the voice of nature herself. The setting is luxurious as the poem celebrates all phases of nature. Now let's look at the figures of speech used in this poem. A personification. Let's see what's a personification. Personification is a poetic device in which human attributes are given to animals, non-living things, or ideas. The objects speak or behave like humans with human emotions in such cases. Let's look at the examples. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights. In the above lines, he refers to the grasshopper. Now let's look at the other figures of speech used in this poem. Imagery. Imagery is a literary device used in poetry, novels, and other writing that uses vivid description that appeals to a reader's senses to create an image or idea in their head. When you read the poem, the poet tries to picture and visualize those images in your mind. That's what we call like imagery. The poem on the grasshopper and cricket has several imageries in it. While reading the poem, we can easily imagine the scenes described in the poem. The words such as sun, trees, birds, and voice are various images created in the minds of the readers. Well, let's look at the another figure of speech. Well, the next figure of speech used in this poem is metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech used to make a comparison, but in a way different from a simile. In a simile, usually we use as or like to compare the two things. Like he looks like a lion. But in a metaphor is a direct comparison of two or more things. It makes the description of an object look as if it was literally true. In the poem, the poet compares the earth's poetry with the singing of a grasshopper. Well, now let's check how well you have understood. Let's check out progress here. Are you ready? Yes. Here is the first question for you. The poetry of earth is not made of words. What is it made of? As suggested in the poem. According to the poem, the poetry of the earth is never ending and is not made of words. It can be heard in every season. For instance, during summer season, one can hear the voice of birds and a grasshopper. As the winter arrives and everyone is inside their homes, one can hear the song of the cricket. Well, now let's look at the another question. Find in the poem line that match the following. The grasshopper's happiness never comes to an end. Just think of the poem. Yes, the line in the poem that matches the above line is he has never done with his delights. Wonderful. Now let's look at the similar question. Find in the poem line that match the following. The cricket song has a warmth that never decreases. Just think, children. Yes, the line in the poem that matches the above line is the cricket song in warmth increasing ever. Let's look at another question. Here is a question for you. Which word in stanza 2 is opposite in meaning to the frost? Yes, it is warmth. Wonderful, children. Now let's look at another question. The poetry of earth continues round the year through a cycle of two seasons. Mention each with its representative voice. Yes, what are the two seasons? First, the summer and the winter seasons. During the summer, one can hear the song of birds and grasshoppers, and during winter, one can hear the cricket singing. Thus, all of them keep the poetry of the earth alive. Well, what is the moral of the grasshopper and the cricket? The moral of the poem on the grasshopper and the cricket is that nature has perseverance as well as patience. It keeps its jovial nature alive even during the harsh weathers, that means summer and winter. Two very little creatures, grasshopper and cricket, keep the spirit of nature alive in harsh weathers. Hello, children. Shall we start a new topic for discussion here? Yes? Oh, somebody saying no. Why? It's bad time. Huh. What, children? There's no wrong time to do the right thing. So now here is an interesting topic that it's all about your belief system, and still so many people believe in superstitions. Well, children, do you believe in superstitions? Why or why not? And here is the task for you. Work with your partner and share some superstitious beliefs that you are familiar with. Yes, I'm sure that you are discussing. And now let's find out some superstitious beliefs that our students are going to share with us. Well, let's see what are the superstitions they are talking about. The first one, a black cat crossing the road symbolizes bad luck. What do you think, children? Just try to think. And the second one is a crow cawing indicates that guests are arriving. Let's see what the third person is saying. Seeing a mongoose symbolizes to be very lucky. Just think. And itchy palms bring you money. What do you think, children? What are these superstitious beliefs? Do you really believe, or do you want to say something about that? And let's listen to the opinions of our students. A black cat crossing the road symbolizes bad luck. Do you agree or not? Yes. Let's see what our student says.
I think it's not true. It depends on your belief system. Actually, a black cat crossing your path is considered to be good luck in many parts of the world. In Britain, Ireland, Japan, and Germany, it is believed that encountering a black cat on your travels is lucky.
Great. Now the second superstition is seeing a mongoose symbolizes to be very lucky. What do you say? Do you believe in luck or hard work? Let's listen to the opinion of another student.
No, there is no such thing as luck. You either take the opportunities as they are presented. It is all about positive thinking. Instead of believing luck, you work hard and success is yours.
You're right. Rather than luck, you have to believe hard work. Well done. Now here is another superstition. Itchy palms symbolize that a person is going to give or receive some money. What do you think, children? Now let's listen to the opinion of the other student.
According to superstition, itchy palms were thought to symbolize that a person is going to give away or receive some money. Forget about luck, think scientifically. Itchy palms are often the result of common skin diseases such as eczema. So first take treatment.
All right. So instead of money, what you have to do is, if you think scientifically, you may get disease. First, go to doctor and take treatment. Wonderful. Well, after listening to the opinions of our children, now you can understand what a superstition is. It is a false belief, or we can say it is immature, and even we can say it is because of illiteracy. And these superstitions usually create some kind of fear and anxiety. Please don't believe these superstitions, And what I can say is think scientifically, as the boy was saying, when your palms are itching, maybe you might have got eczema or skin disease. First, go to the treatment. Well done, children. Now, here is one more interesting task for you for speaking. Children, watch these birds now. In the same way, how many different kinds of birds do you come across in the lesson? Did you remember the scarlet minivets and drongos? And how many varieties do you see in your neighborhood? Are there any birds that you used to see earlier in your neighborhood but not now? For example, like there were n number of sparrows and now you can't find any. So now children in groups discuss why you think this is happening. Just think and discuss with your friends and finally decide what we have to do still to save some birds that are still left. Let us protect and save our environment and our creatures around us. Well, children, here is an interesting activity for writing. Let's watch this video. The monsoons are a time of great fun and even a few adventures. Playing in the rain and getting wet, wading through knee-deep water on your way to school, water flooding the houses or the classroom, parkers, and so on. Now write a paragraph describing an incident that occurred the rains which you can never forget. Well, here are some tips for you to writing a paragraph. Begin a paragraph with a topic sentence that briefly explains what the paragraph is about. Next, write a few sentences for development and elaborating on the topic with more details. Use transition words or discourse markers like however, because, for instance, or other words. End the paragraph with a conclusion sentence that summarizes the topic or presents one final piece of support to wrap up. Finally, revise and edit your paragraph for errors. Now here is one sample paragraph written by my student. My experience of a rainy day. When I think of rainy days, it brings back many wonderful memories to me. However, one memory is so special that I can never forget in my life. I was studying 6th class. It was Sunday, so I woke up early and decided to play cricket match. I went to my friend's house and we went to the ground. As soon as we reached the ground, it began raining heavily. Instead of going home or playing cricket, we started playing volleyball. It was fun. After some time, I returned home and played with my cousins in the rain. We prepared many colorful paper boards as well. We enjoyed a lot. In the evening, my mother prepared some snacks. She served hot cashew pakoras. We relished the pakoras as we watched the rainfall. It was truly one of the most memorable days of mine. Well, here is a home task for you. Write a poem of your own about the season of spring when trees are in full bloom. Hope you enjoyed, children. And that's all for today. And thank you for watching. And let's meet in the next class. Until then, happy learning. Have a nice time.